Tonight at McKeon Park, the Bourne Braves dropped their sixth straight game, this time losing to the Hyannis Harborhawks by a final score of 8-4. Right now, I'm joined by Alexander Moore and Blaine McCormick for some Tomahawk talk. Alex, Harrison Rakowski started for the Braves tonight. He went 1 2/3 innings. This is his second consecutive outing where he didn't make it 3 innings or more. How important do you think it is that during these games when the Braves have been struggling, the starting pitchers are giving them good outings?
I think that's everything. I think the starting pitchers need to go at least 4 innings, if anything. Especially we need someone to get us back into our groove. Maybe that's Jared DeCesare or Justin Lasco. But yeah, we need those guys to go deeper. We can't have a starting pitcher only go an inning and 2/3, giving up 4 earned runs and 4 walks as well. I mean, that's just not how you're going to win ball games. You need to get those starters to go deeper on. I mean, when you have to jump into that bullpen early in the game, that's hard. You got to change your strategy all around, and the coaching staff really has to coach really well, and that just makes it hard for everyone.
So tonight, another turning point, though, for the game was in the third inning. The Braves scored 3 runs. They had a runner on third and nobody out. They couldn't get that 4th runner across. It seemed like that kind of was the momentum shift that the Hyannis Harborhawks needed tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And you have these flirts of momentum with the Braves, but they just can't convert the runs in that they need later in the ball game. And then, when the Hyannis Harborhawks caught fire later in the ball game, they finished it with an 8-4 score. And that's tough for the Bourne Braves, and the pitching staff really just didn't look that elite today with Harrison Rakowski, like you guys were mentioning, just not having the greatest start. And then Zach Peak coming in, he was good for a couple of innings, but then gave up a couple of runs, started to struggle a little bit. Kyle Martin, pretty much the same deal, but he finished the ball game pretty well. So maybe it's just time to vary it up a little bit, have some changes. Saw a couple in the lineup today with Thad in right field. But as far as pitching goes, maybe Harrison needs to make a stint in the bullpen, and then maybe Zach Peak go back up to the starter role.
And something I want to ask you about, Alex, is when you lose 6 in a row, it seems like the vibe is just going to be a little bit worse. That just is how it's going to be. What do you think is kind of the environment right now for the Bourne Braves in their dugout?
I don't know. It seems like just as soon as they get down, they really get down on themselves and kind of quit on the game really early on. And you don't really see too much fight out of them anymore. After as soon as maybe 2 or 3 runs get across the board, they get down, and you can tell in the field that they're just not playing with their heart anymore. And baseball, it takes a lot of heart in this game. I mean, there's 9 innings. There's no time clock. They're going to have to pitch to you every single time. But if you're already checked out by the 3rd inning, you're not doing yourself or your team any favors. So the energy needs to get picked up, and we need to have a little bit of a winning, energy coming into the next game.
So a tough team coming in next for the Bourne Braves. At Dorn Park tomorrow night, they're going to take on YD, one of the best teams in the league. What do they have to do in that game to try to finally get out of this rut?
At this point in the season, it's pretty tough, and especially with this losing streak that they've had. It's now 6 straight. Like you said, Alex, energy is at an all-time low. And to answer your question, Rob, I don't really know what it's going to take for them, but I think if you just vary it up the lineup a little bit more, play with a few other positions. We saw Brickhouse at third. We saw Thad in right. Thad's kind of struggled a little bit out in the early goings out there, but then improved later in the ball game. So when you have your big bats up, you've got to convert. And the top of the lineup was very good for the Bourne Braves today, but the bottom really struggled. So big-time hits come in big-time situations, and it's going to be a real test for the Braves because they're facing off against the Red Sox a couple of times and then the Wareham Gatemen, both of those sitting at the top of their respective divisions.
So tomorrow, Jared DeCesare is going to try to end the losing streak for the Bourne Braves. He's going to face the YD Red Sox, obviously, as Blaine just mentioned. But right now, alongside Alexander Moore and Blaine McCormick, I'm your host, Rob Werner, saying so long, and we'll see you soon.